The second team that I'll be previewing for the 2026 IPL is Punjab Kings. Runners up last year, they got very close to their maiden title. We had two teams who had never won in the final, RCB and them. It was going to be one team whose drought was about to end. RCB ended up being the winning team. They were obviously the better side throughout, but Punjab were very close to getting that dream done. So I think, again, one of the things that I noticed about Punjab last year was the fact that they kind of over exceeded a lot of people's expectations because one thing that really worked well for them was that their young players, uncapped Indian players, kind of came in and did the job for them. I think players like at the top of the order, the main key players were Prabhsimran Singh and Priyansh Arya, who were giving them starts every game. Them, there was Nehal Wadhera in the middle order, Shashank Singh, there, Harpreet Brar was bowling. So I think overall, those young Indian players were kind of doing the job for them. I think, and uh, some one of the things that they kind of needed to upgrade this year was probably just the fact that they had to find someone to replace Josh Inglis because definitely because of the fact that he was going to get married this year. At the time of the IPL, he told Punjab it's a big controversy that he's not going to be playing because he'll probably just play 4 games in the entire tournament, and that's why Punjab released him. And now that he went into the auction, got paid 8.6 crores, I think, by LSG. There's reports that he might skip whatever honeymoon that he was going to go after his wedding and come in and play more games. So it's kind of I mean, Punjab obviously won't be very happy about it because they weren't communicated about that early on. I think, and the thing is, Punjab is the one to blame in my opinion because they had paid not a lot of money for him when they bought him in the first place. So I still believe a player who did so well for you in a year that you went into a final should have just been retained even if he was going to play 4 games. It's not like you have a team that is struggling and you really need the money. You have got players that have already done well and you don't need to buy a lot of players. So I would have really liked them to stick around with English even if it's just 4 games, and I think they kind of missed the trick there. And Lucknow went in, bought in him for 8 crores, and now there's a chance that he'll play more games. So that's Punjab's loss. So well, forget all of that. I think that was the area that they really wanted to improve from because अभी इंग्लिश जाने के बाद किसी को तो लाके नंबर 3 का जो रोल वो कर रहे थे. इंग्लिश द वे ही वाज बैटिंग, मतलब बुमराह को जिस तरीके से ही hit him in the second qualifier, he took him on, and that kind of changed the entire dynamic. Bumrah was the key player who could have changed it for Mumbai, and it was Josh Inglis who counter-attacked him and made sure that there was no problems that Punjab faced in that chase. So I think I mean he was the one who set the tempo for Iyer to kind of finish at the end. So I think uh, him at 3 was a very big. I think one of the things that I mean we have to give credits for the Punjab management and captain that day went in and did that because Iyer, captain Iyer, he prefers to bat at 3. He gave up his spot because he felt like there was something, so sort of an X factor batting that English can provide at 3 that would really benefit the team because you've got two Indian players who obviously play at a good strike rate, but someone at 3 that can do that job for you, who gives you that acceleration so that the middle order kind of has a very good platform set to kind of go and build and finish on a high, was being set every game, and English did consistently do that. So they wanted someone to replace him. They didn't go and buy a batsman who would do that, but I think they've gone in and bought Cooper Connolly and Ben Dwarshius, a couple of all-rounders. That those are their key picks, I think, from the auction. They didn't have a busy auction. They obviously had a lot of the players that did well for them last year retained, so they didn't have to buy a lot of players. But I think they sort of upgraded uh, in the fact, I mean, I don't, they didn't upgrade. Obviously, Josh Inglis didn't find a replacement for him. But I think Cooper Connolly is a player that will bat at 3 and will also give them a few overs. He's playing for Australia consistently in white ball cricket, but I think it's still sort of a. I mean, I don't think they really like the fact that English is not going to be there. That's one weakness that I notice about this team. Obviously, the strengths are the same thing. The core is retained. The players that did well for them are still there. The same thing that like I talked about RCB. It's the team that has done well for you to come in and do it again. The only thing about I feel about that is different for Punjab than for RCB is that RCB had experienced players in the team that you would have expected them to do well, and they did really well. Punjab, going into last year, when I looked at their squads, I considered that they had not done so well because they had 110 crores in their purse in last year's auction, and they didn't even buy. I mean, they didn't have a proper. You'd expect them to go in and buy at the mega auction some flamboyant foreigner opener that was missing after the auction, and you thought that this team has probably missed the trick and they can't really come back from this, but they did, and the reason for that was that their young, uncapped Indian batters and uncapped players over exceeded the expectation that was set. It is hard for some players like that to do it again because obviously IPL is very competitive. You cannot just have one good season and that means that you will have consistently good seasons. There have been a lot of players who've done well 1 or 2 years and then kind of disappeared. So for them, it is about backing the talent that has done well, but at the same time, it's a worry that whether the talent can come in and do the same job for you again. Because other teams, like I said, I talked about that in the RCB video as well, that there's players that obviously in other teams that didn't do well, teams have kind of identified their weaknesses and kind of upgraded them. So because of that, you are kind of sticking to the team that did well for you and hoping that the team will come in and do the job again. And to add to that, the fact that the players that did well for you were not even expected to do as well as they did is another big issue because obviously it's a great thing to have players that didn't do well for you do well, but can they do it again is another worry. So I think that is one weakness, not a weakness, but something that I feel is there in Punjab. Uh, like I said, Josh Inglis is missing. That is a big miss in that team because he was doing the job for you that I think doesn't. I mean, I don't know if it's getting talked about as much as it should, but whatever he was doing for you at number three for Punjab at number three was extremely important for them in that in them going to the finals. So I think that is definitely missing. Cooper Connolly is not played in the IPL before. Mitchell Owen is one of the players that they didn't play him much, who again hasn't played much in the IPL. There's another player. There's Ben Dwarshius is obviously not going to play at number three. So who's really going to take up that spot? Can they kind of tell Nehal Wadhera to bat at three and Iyer plays four, or they play Cooper Connolly at three? Is something that I'll have to see. Connolly plays as the floater that Inglis was doing at three, the job that he's kind of doing. They don't really expect him to score big runs, but they just kind of give them that platform for the middle order to kind of take from there, is what I feel. But I think because of that, I think there's a little weakness that is added to this team. But other than that, I think it's still the same team. So I think uh, it's Prabhsimran Singh, Priyansh Arya, the openers, obviously had great seasons last year. If they can replicate that, I think this team is very, very well sorted. But again, it's a little question mark over that. So Prabhsimran Singh, Priyansh Arya, number three could be Cooper Connolly. I am going with that because I'm just trying to build the team around what was built last year. So just trying to find someone to do what English was doing, and I think in this squad maybe Mitch Owen or Cooper Conley is the only option. So I think depending upon who's playing spinners for you, if you don't need the extra spin of Conley, and you want a pacer, you can play Mitch Owen. If you need the spin of Conley, he can play at three, left-handed as well. So maybe that I'm going at him at three. Number four is Shreyas Iyer, Nehal Wadhera at five, Shashank Singh at six. Marcus Stoinis played a kind of a finisher role for them last year. They didn't bat him much. That was something he was doing even before that. So I think that is one area that I think Stoinis again. He's starting to play. He came back and he's starting to play for Australia as well in the T20s. So I think Stoinis is obviously that experienced player that they have in that lower order. Marco Jansen bats at eight. Marco Jansen is one of the best players that doesn't get as much respect as he should, or doesn't get as much talked about as he should, because he's fantastic. I think the way he bowls with the new ball, the way he can come in and be economical at the death as well, picks up wickets, can be that key, 4 over bowler, and you have Arshdeep as well. So that added with the fact that he's a very good number seven, number eight batter to have, kind of gives you that balance. They have got a lot of foreign all-rounders, like I said, Cooper Conley, Stoinis, Mitch Owen, Azmatullah Omarzai, Jansen. They've got another one. I think they've got they've gotten for Ben Dwarshius for 4.4 crores. So there's 5-6 of those foreign all-rounders. I think three of them can play. I think I'm going with Stoinis, Connolly, and Jansen for now. There's obviously, like I said, there's Mitch Owen, there's Dwarshius, there's Omarzai to kind of come in as backups. So this team at eight, Jansen at eight, and then 9, 10, 11, and the impact players. So those four players that they can have from here is if you play two spinners, if you have Connolly and you don't want to play two spinners, you don't have to play Harpreet Brar. But I think Harpreet Brar had a better season than Chahal, if you kind of put it that way, from last season, the way he was bowling economically. So Harpreet Brar, I'm still putting him in. Him, Chahal, there's obviously Asdeep, and if they want, they can play. They've got another foreign slot vacant. If they want to play anybody out of those, like I said, if they want a fast bowler, just his fast bowling skills is Lockie Ferguson. They've got a backup for Lockie Ferguson in Bartlett, Xavier Bartlett. If they want some more all-rounders, like they paid 4.4 for Dwarshius, so maybe Ben Dwarshius can come in and he can bat at 9 as well. So that's a lot of batting depth. So him, Omarzai, so there's options there. So I think the bowling can take care of itself. In that sense, I'll say they've got a lot of options. If you look at all the players that I've named beyond them. There's Suryansh Shedge who played for them. There's Musheer Khan, who was also there last year. Didn't play much, but he's still there. They've got Indian batting in Harnoor, in Pyla Avinash, fast bowling backups in Vyshak, who played a few games. Yash Thakur played a few games. They've gotten two new uncapped Indians into the squad in Vishal Nishad and Praveen Dubey. So over and all, these are the kind of changes that they've made to the squad at the end. And like I said, these backups. So it's again, the entire core should be similar, and that's why they didn't have a busy auction at all. बट वही चीज है कि मैंने जो चीज आरसीबी के लिए बोली वही चीज पंजाब के लिए बोलूंगा कि जो प्लेयर्स आपके लिए अच्छा करते हैं वो प्लेयर्स आपके लिए नेक्स्ट ईयर भी अच्छा करेंगे इसकी गारंटी इज यू नो आई थिंक ओवर द कोर्स ऑफ द इयर्स ऑफ द आईपीएल वी सीन इज नॉट वेरी it's not consistently happened for a lot of teams. I think CSK was one team that was able to do it. Mumbai was another team that was able to do it. But to go kind of back to back and have good two back to back campaigns is very hard. But and like I said, I'm not saying anything against these uncapped players. Obviously, the league is kind of changing, and a lot of uncapped players are coming in and playing better than some experienced international campaigners. But obviously the pressure of the IPL is a different beast than any other competition that is in world cricket. So I think because of that, it's a little hard. But I think Punjab again, because of that core being maintained, if they can kind of replicate those performances and the role clarity helps them to sort of, I mean, there's not a lot of players that are kind of not knowing what they're supposed to do. They've done the job last year and they're supposed to do it again. So that's obviously a big advantage. It's just whether they can replicate those performances that will decide whether they are a team that can qualify or not. So I think Punjab, I'm quite happy with the fact that they didn't do. I mean, that's very surprising. Punjab, every year we've seen over the years in the IPL, obviously because they haven't qualified. They all qualified in 2008 and then 14 and haven't qualified in any other years. So obviously every year we saw them as one of the teams with the big purse and being busy and buying players like crazy, spending money on players that just didn't make sense and making the same mistakes year after year. So it was a good change to see them this year going in calm and just sitting there and not being very busy in the auction and kind of making buys just to sort of make sure that whatever areas they just needed an upgrade or they needed someone to kind of replace. I mean, obviously English going, they needed someone to do that for them at three. They've kind of just focused on that and not gone crazy over players just because of the sake of it, just for the sake of it. So I think it's a good thing in that sense. But yeah, I'm quite happy with what they have, obviously because of the team that they have built from last year. It is going to be one of the teams that will be considered that they would be disappointed if they don't qualify. But yeah, like I said, it really depends on whether they can replicate the performances. So that's it for Punjab, and I'll talk about Mumbai next.